The 90s. What a time to be alive. At least so I'm told. I'm one of those weird early 2000s babies, old enough to remember Blockbuster and buying songs on iTunes, but not so young that I'm an iPad kid. What I do know about the 90s, though, is that they were a great time for movies. 1999 specifically is one of those years that only comes along every so often, where banger after certified bangers drop in the theaters all year long. The Matrix changed action movies forever. Kubrick gave us his last work with Eyes Wide Shut. Fight Club changed the internet forever before the internet even existed because he's literally me. The Sixth Sense launched M. Night Shyamalan's career, and we're still paying the price for that, even though that one's great. The Green Mile was the first movie to ever make me want to cry and throw up during the duration of the same movie. The Blair Witch Project launched an entirely new genre of horror. Notice anything I'm missing? If you're thinking I'm going to mention American Beauty, you are wrong because I refuse to watch that. Anything else? You might not have anything come to mind after the ones I covered, and I wouldn't blame you. The movie I'm thinking of, the namesake of the video, is The Insider, also obviously from 1999. I actually didn't know this movie existed until my brother recommended it to me last summer, and I could not shut up about it. Part thriller, part crime drama, part courtroom drama, and part journalism movie. And I genuinely think a very important and insane true story. It stars Al Pacino and Russell Crowe, and both of them put forward what I consider some of the best performances of their career. The Insider was directed by Michael Mann, who has his fair share of heaters in his portfolio. Anyways, The Insider is not a movie I've heard anyone talk about, like, ever. Showed a handful of my friends in college, and they seemed to like it enough, but when we did our traditional post-movie YouTube video on The Insider, it was nowhere to be found. Middle child movies to the rescue on that one, I guess. Let's talk about The Insider. So, The Insider is actually a movie about real-life scientists and journalists teaming up to expose Big Tobacco on 60 Minutes for covering up the fact that nicotine is an addictive chemical and cigarettes are the nicotine delivery device. Scientist Jeff Wigand, played by Russell Crowe, wants to blow the whistle on said tobacco companies, but it's not easy for him. The company he was recently ousted from had him sign an NDA, and he isn't exactly at liberty to legally disclose the company's secrets he's aware of. Al Pacino plays 60 Minutes journalist Lowell Bergman, whose role in this movie is essentially to find workarounds for the NDA, as well as a variety of other personal and professional attacks on Wigand by Big Tobacco, including but not limited to the FBI, home break-ins, gag orders, warrants for his arrest, public character assassination, and more. That's the premise in a nutshell. The acting in this movie from every single person cast is unbelievably good. It is a true story, but you almost forget you're watching a movie. I would say primarily because of the performances. Top to bottom, everyone brings their A game, and it's genuinely a treat to watch. Al Pacino specifically. These performances set on top of a genre-blending piece like The Insider had me guessing at every turn how this thing was going to play out, and genuinely kept it fun to watch the entire duration of the movie because these guys are just killing it. It really helps that the writing these actors have to work with is pretty great. It's actually surprising how quotable this movie is considering the subject matter, and there are a handful of lines in there that I still find myself thinking about and even dropping from time to time, even a year after my first watch.
You fucked us! No, you fucked you! Don't invert stuff! And I'm going to take my witness's testimony whether the hell you like it or not! Bullshit! You corporate lackey! Who told you your incompetent little fingers have the requisite skills to edit me?
The emotional weight of the movie also ends up a bit heavier than I was expecting as well. The Insider explores the effects of a personal assault on every aspect of your life, like I described, from a multi-billion-dollar industry up close and personal. And spoiler alert, it is no fun. Just like any conflict, it does give us an easy way to empathize with our main character and adds an extra reason to root for him other than just because the movie told us to. This is the emotional core of the movie, and we get to watch how these attacks play out in court, at home, and in the news, making The Insider feel like so many different kinds of movies, but it all makes sense. Nothing is forced in here. This movie feels one of a kind in that regard. It's like 3 different movies rolled into one, again making it so easy to watch and get into and stay into the whole time. We've all seen movies fail at being one thing. The Insider succeeds at being so many different things at the same time that it really sets itself apart to me and made me wonder how I'd never heard of it. The ending even made me want to get up and cheer, and I watched this for the first time by myself in my bed at like midnight. Speaking of the ending, I am going to talk some spoilers here, so skip to here if you don't want to hear about it, but you have been warned. The way these events culminate in the crushing pull of Wygand's 60-minute segment from the network and the replacement with a stand-in due to CBS corporate pulling the strings of the 60 Minutes team is not a turn I was expecting this movie to make, and it sends us off on a side quest with Bergman in order to smear his own network in the New York Times in order to force their hand into airing the segment that ruined Wygand's entire life. I honestly thought it might be over and they wouldn't be able to pull it off because Bergman nearly gets fired fighting against this thing. Of course, considering I said this made me want to cheer, Bergman is able to outmaneuver not one but two armies of multi-billion-dollar industry execs in order to fix Wygand's life and get his segment on the air. Makes you want to say, hell yeah. Bergman does hang up his journalism spurs, however, because he almost burned a lead, which genuinely made me sad because I could watch several more movies of Al Pacino playing him, but since we only got the one, I'm glad it was this one. An awesome conclusion to an awesome movie.
Story, no story. Fuck your story. I don't burn people.
So, why doesn't anyone talk about this movie? I honestly have no idea. Could be that it only came out 4 years after the real life events played out, so maybe people thought it was too soon. Maybe it got buried under the rest of the grades from the year. It also didn't make any money, so maybe genuinely not enough people have seen it. Its one-of-a-kind nature also makes it a weird recommendation to people. You kind of just have to tell them they're watching a movie and to trust you. So that's what I'm going to tell you. If you haven't seen The Insider, definitely give it a shot. I don't see a world where you don't like it, and if you have seen The Insider, go watch it again, because it doesn't get old. That's all I've got for today. Any button clicking support is appreciated as always, and I hope I catch you next time. Cheers.